Right now, President Trump is visiting England. It seems like the king is happy he is there. It seems like the prime minister of England is happy he is there, but not everyone in England is happy President Trump is over there. In fact, some people were quite upset and wanted him to go back home. My name is Brent. I have been an English teacher in the United States for over 20 years, and I love helping people improve their English. We are going to watch a news clip together about President Trump's visit to England. And of course, like most news stations, they are going to use some very difficult terms. But don't worry, that's where I come in. After we watch the video together, I will come back and teach you all of those difficult terms you might see on the IELTS or TOEFL exam, or maybe you want to use them in future English conversations. If that sounds useful to you, please go ahead, hit that like button. It really helps other people find the channel. Let's watch the news clip together.
Tonight, President Trump receiving a royal welcome like no other. 1,300 British military personnel, 120 horses, and a spectacular flyover in red, white, and blue, marking an unprecedented second state visit to the UK by an American commander-in-chief. At historic Windsor Castle, the President and First Lady immediately greeted by Prince William and Princess Kate, then King Charles and Queen Camilla.
This word might be difficult to say. Royal. Royal. It means related to a king, queen, or their family. Here is a sentence that uses royal. The royal family waved to the crowd from the balcony. Take a look at that word. It looks a lot like person, but it's pronounced personnel. Personnel. Those are the people who work for a company or an organization. Take a look at the picture. You can see that there are some people in a hospital. AI clearly made this. A lot of the people look almost the same, but here is a sentence that uses personnel. The hospital hired more personnel to help in the busy season. Here is a great adjective to know in English. It's spectacular. Spectacular. It means very impressive or amazing. Talk about spectacular. Take a look at that picture. We saw a spectacular sunset at the beach. In the United States, before a sporting event, you might see a flyover. I know when I was in Kentucky watching a football game a couple years ago, there was a very impressive flyover. President Trump got a flyover when he went to England. Let's talk about what that is. It's when planes fly over a place, often for a show or a ceremony. Take a look at that picture right there. 4 jets did a flyover at the football game. Yes, flyover in this case is a noun. They said President Trump's state visit to England is unprecedented, so we need to talk about both of those terms. Let's talk about unprecedented first. I know I have talked about this before on the channel, so maybe this is review for you. Unprecedented means something that has never happened before. I'm going to make that picture a little bigger. You can see there is a lot of snow in the picture. How about this sentence? The town had an unprecedented amount of snow this winter. So it makes me think they have never seen that much snow before. Now, no other modern US president has been to England twice for a state visit. President Trump was there before in his first term back in 2019. So let's talk about what a state visit is. That is a formal trip by a leader of one country to another country. The president arrived in London for a state visit. And a couple reasons why he is there on a state visit for a second time is that his presidential terms were non-consecutive. Like a president can only be president or get elected to be president twice. He has been elected twice, but President Biden was president in between those two terms. And also, there is a new monarch there. The first time he was there in 2019, Queen Elizabeth II was the monarch of England. And now, of course, it's King Charles.
Marking an unprecedented second state visit to the UK by an American commander-in-chief. At historic Windsor Castle, the President and First Lady immediately greeted by Prince William and Princess Kate, then King Charles and Queen Camilla. The King honoring the President by allowing him to walk ahead as they reviewed the troops. With tariffs and wars in Ukraine and Gaza the focus of talks tomorrow, the British today first deploying Tiara diplomacy.
They talk about how President Trump is the commander-in-chief of the United States. That means the top leader of a country's military. And for us here in the US, it is the president. Here is a sentence that uses commander-in-chief. The president acts as the commander-in-chief of the armed forces. Windsor Castle, quite a beautiful place. This is a famous royal castle in England where the British monarch lives sometimes. Many tourists visit Windsor Castle every year. The King of England will spend most of their time at Buckingham Palace, but Windsor Castle is like a weekend home for them. The president also has something similar. It's Camp David. Windsor Castle is about 25 miles away from London. Camp David is about 60 miles from Washington, D.C. And it's probably a good thing that President Trump was 25 miles outside of London because a lot of people were protesting his visit. Honoring. They mentioned this in the newscast too. It means showing respect or praise for someone. And in that picture, you can see they are honoring that person. The school held a ceremony honoring the veterans. Just in case you don't know veterans, those are people who served in the military. The focus. Focus can be a verb, but in the newscast, they used it as a noun, and it means the main thing people are paying attention to. I have a sentence for you using the focus. Her speech was the focus of the meeting. It's like the main reason they were there. Here's a tough one. Tiara diplomacy. Tiara, or you might hear tiara. If you take a look at the woman in the picture, she is wearing a tiara. Tiara diplomacy is using fancy royal events or jewelry, like tiaras, to create goodwill between countries. Some might say they threw President Trump a massive party to get on his good side, to become more friendly with him. The princess wore a historic crown as part of tiara diplomacy during the banquet. A banquet is like a fancy dinner, or we might say a lavish dinner. Lavish means very rich, fancy, or expensive. They threw a lavish party for their anniversary.
Tonight, a lavish white-tie banquet for the president with a table 50 yards long.
This is truly one of the highest honors of my life.
And a toast from the king.
Allow me to propose a toast to President Trump and the First Lady.
The pomp and pageantry largely insulated from this protest about 25 miles away. NBC's Raf Sanchez was there.
These demonstrations have brought central London to a complete standstill. Protesters here say the red carpet should not have been rolled out for President Trump.
But outside Windsor Castle, British Trump supporters urging the president to make England great again.
He's really turning the US around, and we hope he has some influence over here in the UK.
At that banquet, President Trump sat next to Princess Kate, saying she looked radiant, healthy, and beautiful in his toast. and predicting a successful future for her and Prince William.
And the king hosted President Trump for a white tie banquet. That is a very formal dinner where guests wear tuxedos and long gowns. Do you know what a tuxedo is? If you don't, I have a picture of it right there for you. And there is a picture of what a white tie banquet might look like. A lot of people are in tuxedos and many of them are wearing white ties. Next, we have a toast. Some Americans have toast for breakfast, but this is something very different. It means raising a glass and saying good wishes before drinking. At the wedding, the father of the bride gave a toast. Pomp and pageantry is next. Pomp and pageantry. Not that easy to say. It means grand and fancy ceremonies or traditions. How about this sentence? The parade was full of pomp and pageantry with music and flags. Because the president and the king were 25 miles outside of London at Windsor Castle, they were quite insulated. Insulated. It has a couple different meanings in English, but in the newscast, they used it like this: protected from outside changes or problems. Take a look at that picture. The man in the car is pretty insulated from the protests. Yeah, he can see what is going on, but he is definitely protected inside that car. They said London was at a standstill because of the protests. Standstill? It's exactly what it sounds like. A situation where everything stops moving or progressing. Look at this picture here. Traffic came to a standstill after the accident. If you saw the English lesson where Putin came to Alaska to visit Trump, we talked about rolling out the red carpet, so this one might be review. It means to give someone very special treatment. And in the picture, there is a red carpet, but you don't have to have an actual red carpet. If you roll out the red carpet, it's just an idiom. The hotel rolled out the red carpet for the famous actor. Here we have a verb, urging. Urging, that means asking or encouraging someone to do something. I urge you to study your English every day. I'm sure you do. Please let me know in the comments. Do you study your English every day? If not, I urge you to do so. The teacher was urging students to finish their projects. And if you would like to practice your speaking with me one-on-one, it's not an entire class. It will be just you and me. I urge you to check out the comments or the description below. There you will find a link for information on how you can be my speaking partner. I know it's very difficult to find quality speaking partners. I can be that guy for you if you would like. Influence. Influence is the power to change or affect someone or something. Take a look at the picture. Her speech had a big influence on voters. Radiant. Radiant. It is a great word to know in English. It means shining brightly or looking very happy. Hopefully the bride is radiant on her wedding day. Hopefully she looks happy to be there. The bride looked radiant on her wedding day. Well, what do you know? You made it to the end of a pretty challenging English lesson. If you are still not done learning English for the day, right down there is that English lesson I talked about earlier when Putin came to Alaska. Thanks so much for watching. See you next time.